Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. A prime example of a beautiful mess. The CGI is good, though the opening action sequence is so dark that it's hard to make out what is happening at times, and a lot of the panning shots that are meant to show off the beautiful backgrounds are sped through to the point where you might actually get a mild headache if you tried to focus in on some of the details. If you're not going to give us time to enjoy them, then don't give them all to us and use the time to help us enjoy some of them. But honestly, I think they should have cut them all down or out completely in favor of fleshing out this story more. This movie is all over the place as the editing is just bad, cutting from scenes that seem unfinished or are missing proper transitioning. I'll give you a prime example. There's a moment in the film where Newt and one of his friends immediately jump from being at a cafe to a sewer. And then, while they're down in that sewer, they hear a noise, and then they immediately cuts to them on the street where the noise is happening. Not them coming out of the sewer onto the street, but immediately to the street. I admit this is a small example that doesn't really amount to anything, so you could probably skip it. But again, this is an example of what you see. So this happens very often, especially during scenes of high intensity where you're engaged. This movie is over 2 hours long, but it still feels rushed at times, as it is very clear that they cut a lot out. You will be wondering how things got to this point or how characters came to this place. The acting, though, is pretty good for the most part. Jude Law as a young Dumbledore does a pretty good job. And they went out of their way to show off how cruel and heartless Grindelwald is, while at the same time making his argument for dominating humanity kind of compelling. And that's the best kind of villain. The kind you can't completely disagree with. I could take it or leave it with regards to Johnny Depp playing the character. He did a decent job. The tone of this film is also all over the place. At times it tries to be whimsical with the creature catching like they did in the first film, but then it also has subject matter that may be a little too mature if you plan on taking the children. I mean, it's subtle enough that it'll probably go over their heads, but some of them who are older might catch on and ask you why, and you may not be ready to have that conversation. Overall, I'll give this a 6 out of 10. It's a decent film with some interesting moments, but I don't think you're going to be too invested in the characters or what's happening to them. That's all. Thanks for listening.